Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Shlomi Litzman. I'm one of the organizers and co-founders of Kesher Nafshi. As a Bacher, being Lubavitch my whole life, but what we call the Jewish Peace Corps, I traveled extensively throughout the world to help shluchim in activities. And there was a period when I was 22 to 24, I traveled nonstop, almost globally for 2 years straight, crisscrossing the globe in almost every yontif that came up to help shluchim. And at 15, I already went, 1985, I already went to learn Yerushalayim in yeshiva. I had that, always that travel bug, and always had an interest in seeing the world and what's out there and the curiosity. And I channeled it, my energies for positive things. Little did I know that Deibishter has, your expertise could come to use in future on in life. So for those of you that are new to coming here for the Shabbaton, I want to personally welcome everyone. It means a lot to us. A lot of work goes into this, thousands and thousands of hours of planning. And we appreciate people come, and this is volunteer work. No one takes a salary, no one gets paid for anything, and the countless people have just regular jobs that they work. But it means so much to me to see parents come and get chizuk, which I know is so important, because I'm in the parsha too with 2 children. The reason what travel sounds a little like travel, what does travel have anything to do with anything of Kesher Nafshi or the Shabbaton? Where does this come into play? And very briefly, because I have a slide, one of the things that we learned is a regular person goes on vacation. I mean, it's not, no one looks at you like you're crazy because you went to Florida when you had time off from your work or whatever, or with your family. Without the bonding experience to travel with your child, the struggling child is even more so very, very powerful. They open up to you, they're relaxed, just like when we go on vacation, we're relaxed. They have a lot going on, just like we have a lot going on, and I found tremendous, tremendous healing with taking them away, more on a one-on-one basis versus, it's nice to go with a whole family, but we're all busy, mothers, fathers, we're busy in our lives. And when we're just there one-on-one, we have that attention for them, and we're able to really focus with them and just let them speak and let them be themselves in non-judgmental, chilled environment, and that really kind of sheds some of that exterior, and you can learn tremendous amounts what you wouldn't know. And they'll open up to you, and it takes time to build a relationship. Nothing happens over a day, but it's very, very healing. So I belong to a group of parents, support group, Twisted Parenting, and we have hundreds of families that are in this group. So I kind of got morphed into, they call me a travel agent. And disclaimer, I'm not a travel agent. I don't work for anyone. I don't get paid for anything. And I volunteer my services to help people plan trips. You have people that have never been on an airplane. They could be 40 years old plus. They just have no clue. Now, where do I go? What do I do? How do I travel? Just very basics. And you have people more advanced. That a lady called me up, I want to go to Puerto Rico. And the hotel's like $400 a night. I said, do you by any chance have any points from credit cards? I have no idea. Let me ask my husband. He has 600,000 points. He could literally fly business class around the world maybe a couple of times. And she had no idea. So I saved her thousands of dollars in helping her plan a trip. I do this strictly for chesed. I do this strictly for this purpose only. I don't people call me, I want to go on a family vacation on Chol Hamoed. That's not what I'm here for. But I'm happy to help people, and I literally spent hundreds of hours. My daughters helped me She's been amazing. I know she spoke at the Shabbaton, Shabbos afternoon. So I just want to give a quick overview of some ideas of what you can do. So the first basic of COVID guidelines. Now, into the COVID era, traveling became a lot more challenging. So the guidelines vary by state, and a lot of states are more liberal, as Florida, Arizona, less of the masking. They're more, so it's easier to actually travel there and go there. So make sure you have the most updated restrictions and requirements, specifically when traveling outside the USA. Outside the USA is much more complicated and complex, which we'll get there. Currently, anyone traveling from outside the country into the US is required to take a PCR or an updated antigen test the day before departure. I was in Costa Rica not long ago. It is stressful, but you will want to know, for example, only the hotel that not only the hotel, but the hotel I was in or the airport is where you could get it. You have to get it the day before, not 24 hours before. I didn't know that myself. So if your flight's at 4 p.m., that doesn't mean that you freaked out at 4 p.m. that day. You have to take this test. There's no answer for buts. Vaccinated, triple vaccinated, boosters, doesn't make a difference. You have to have this test to get into the U.S. Now, traveling overseas is rewarding because it's more, people could say, well, my son, my daughter, I don't want to, why would I want to travel with my mother, my daddy? Why would I do that? Now, I always say, come up with something that they can't say no to. Maybe they've been to Disney World 8 times, it's possible, but I don't think most kids have been to Hawaii. And we've had a lot of people traveling to Hawaii. There's been some really cheap fares. Hotels are more expensive, but the wow factor is always something that can work. And again, it's a relationship too. It's having that relationship. But it's extraordinarily rewarding. And guess what? That picture could be on their profile, WhatsApp. They call their friends, hey, where I am? It's so cool. I'm on the beach in Hawaii. I'm here, I'm there. And it's like, oh, my parents are so chill. They're so cool. And that takes work. But you know what? It's extremely rewarding. And in a very positive vibe that they get. I just wanted to bring out, because it came up, for example, a country like Italy, while you could do research online, you don't need to be vaccinated to get in there, which many people aren't vaccinated. That's everyone's choice. That's not what this is about. But if you want to go into a tourist attraction, or you want to go to a local restaurant, you have to be vaccinated. So if you're going to go to Italy, you might as well stay home, because what's the point? You could get into the country, but you can't enjoy what the country has to offer. So that's something to really have in mind. So I picked some destinations where you don't need a passport. Now, obviously, it's important. For those of you that are thinking possibly you might want to travel somewhere, you could actually, the opening up, I believe, or they opened it up to actually make a passport online. I think that's to renew a passport. So a lot of us might have passports that are just expired. So you want to take a look at your passports, or if you don't have a passport, go make a passport, because the time will come, maybe sometimes there's a lot of really, really attractive fares. Guatemala had a fare for $156. You could literally go around. There's a circuit you could go with the Chabad houses. You have to be more adventurous type, but could do it really cheap. And there's more. Cancun is extremely popular because it has kosher. And people don't want to schlep crock pots or plug-in pots and schlepping all their food, and they just want to be pampered too. The mom or the dad wants to go away, and they want to have a vacation. Nothing wrong. Great. They don't want to deal with the food factor. But there are destinations in the U.S. which are very attractive, which you don't need a passport. I'm stating the obvious to me, but it's not the obvious to everyone. Puerto Rico is a very popular destination. You don't need a passport to go to Puerto Rico. It's a U.S. territory, and it's actually just as beautiful as the Caribbean in many ways. It's very pretty. The local shliach is a tremendous guy, very nice. They have a small Israeli-style restaurant. His Chabad house is literally walking distance to many hotels, very accessible. If a husband's traveling or someone that wants a minyan, or even a mother wants a Shabbos to join a meal, he's very chilled. And I just want to say, being a Lubavitcher, understanding that our kids walking to Chabad house, no problem. Now, I can't say someone, in the very odd of oddest times, but it's not going to come from the shliach, it's not come from anyone. But if you go to Puerto Rico, no Haim Mishigai with a Shtraimel is living in Puerto Rico, because why would you live there? If you have business, you travel there. So it's a very relaxed, chilled environment. And sometimes they might decide, hey, you know what? I'm going Friday night, even if I don't go to davening, hey, there's a nice meal, there's a nice shul. I'm just going to chill with and meet people, and people from all over the world, and it's a very beautiful experience. And I've heard so many times of the positive experiences that our children come back from walking into a Chabad house and not being judged, and no one looking down on them, and they dress how they dress, and it's very beautiful, and they know that. They know that. I learned something new. I'm just going to share. There's hundreds of our children that live in Crown Heights. I don't know if people know that. From all walks of life, from Litvish, Hasidish, I got Williamsburg, KJ. You know why they live in Crown Heights? Because nobody judges them. They walk on the streets. Literally, I'm not kidding, hundreds of children. I've spoken to so many. Where is he kid? Crown Heights. And I keep on hearing this. So I just want to share that. That goes the vision of Lubavitch and the Rebbe. We see a Jew for who they are, from a chelik elakal mimal mamish, their piece of Hashem, their neshama, and we look at their neshama. We look at their panemius, not their chitzonius. So here are some places that you would need a passport to go to. One I'm going to, one I've been there. There's a place called Liberia, Costa Rica, which is, if people have an appreciation for nature, it's true Neflar Sabara. I was there not long ago, and I went to rainforests, and I saw sloths, which I wouldn't say it's a koala bear, very cute animal. You could Google it if you want to know how it looks. We saw very colorful frogs, and we saw a snake that I thought was cute, and the guy's like, it's poisonous. He didn't speak the best English. And then he put in his phone, he handed it to me, it said kiss of death. That's what they call that snake, so I had to back up a little bit. We saw monkeys, and some people, there's different kinds of vacation, but some people really appreciate nature. They love the nature and the mountains and the beauty, and it's a volcano, and it's very pretty. The drawback is you have to bring your own kosher food, so to speak. Just a tip, you can walk into any Walmart or any store, you can look online, you get a plug-in pot, and you can literally make anything and everything for $20 today, delivered to your house. Now you want to look at which countries, what you could bring, or it's maybe hard to find, and you just hope and pray, but the milchiks they let in, the meat they didn't see, or the deli, we have meat, so kind of it went through, but bear in mind, even Cancun, there's certain places they'll open your luggage, and if they see meat, they'll throw it out. Now, one tip is, a lot of countries you could get away with, you look for Rabashkin, or not to say what to buy, or a more processed plant, and it says USDA, like there's some silver sticker on it, and their heads, if it's USDA, it's good. It's not, if you're bringing leftover, meat from Shabbos, and it's in a foil wrapper, or you made some steaks, they could, you want to bring packaged product. Another very popular destination, now tickets could go on, there's sales, there's deals, I post them on our chats when we have them. I found tickets to Panama for $219 nonstop. The week before was $800, now it might be more. But Panama is an amazing country. I didn't go there yet, but I've spoken to many people who have been there. There's about 12 kosher restaurants. It's relatively a very cheap destination, whether it's hotels, Ubers, They have beautiful water, and they have rainforest, jungle, and stuff like that. So while it's a city, if you go outside a city, of course, the Panama Canal. Again, it depends what your child wants to do. And just the tip is, I want to go on a vacation. I need a vacation. I need a break. I would love if you came with me. I thought, let's, you look like you could, it's freezing here, maybe, it should come from you that you want to spend time with them. And that's a great thing. So just to speed up a little, Cancun has Playa del Carmen, they have Cozumel, there's like Chabad houses that have restaurants attached to them. And again, people ask me all the time, and I do the same thing, so I'm just sharing it. It's not rocket science. If you know what to do, just put in Chabad of Cancun, Chabad of where you're going, and the tourist destinations will actually have tourist information. What's available, what's kosher food, some of them out of their houses, what you could order, what Shabbos is like, which hotels are walking distance to where you're going. So it's pretty easy to find today, and they put it up because that helps them getting all these phone calls asking the same questions over and over again. Another place which is very pretty, I've been there a number of years ago, but I've sent people to go there, is Cabo San Lucas. Cancun's a little busy, more of the nightclub scene, some downtown, could be a little much for some people. I mean, there's nicer parts. There's a hotel zone. It's a long, miles long, and there's, along the beaches and the hotels. But Cabo might be a little dialed back a little. There's a Chabad house. There's a kosher restaurant. Very nice shliach. Never met him personally, but heard a lot about him. Caribbean islands. If you type in Chabad of Caribbean islands, it'll literally come up a list of all the Caribbean islands. Now, be very careful when you go to Caribbean island. I can't stress enough to know before you book a ticket, before you make travel arrangements, what the COVID guidelines are. If you're not vaccinated and it says you need to be vaccinated, you're not getting in no matter what. You're not even going to get in. You're not going to get on the plane. When you get to the airport today, it basically works as the airlines are the gatekeepers for the travel for the government. You know why? Because if they let somebody in that they're not supposed to, it's on them to bring them back. They have to pay for the ticket. If someone gets rubber stamped, gets thrown out of a country, for whatever reason, thrown out, not in a criminal aspect, just don't have the right visas, the right paper, whatever it is, it's on them to bring it back. So when you get there, just know what it is and check on it. Now, a very good resource to find that out, believe it or not, is the airline, because they're the gatekeepers. So if I don't know someone's going somewhere, I'll call up United Airlines, for example. Say, if you go to Panama, what are the restrictions? They have to be vaccinated, not vaccinated, and they could tell you.
Our app is very good, clear instructions.
Okay, so there's my daughter. See, she helped me. Another very beautiful thing, you could Google, a very useful tool which I use is Tripadvisor. So people ask me, I'm going to Maui, what is there to do in Maui? And just a simple trick, I just put in Maui, top attractions, Tripadvisor, top 10 attractions. And they'll put up, and people will give reviews, and you can actually go through it. And it gives you an idea of where to start, what to do. Now, just to share from personal experiences, unless your son or daughter is that less than a .0001 that gets up every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, is ready to take on the world, don't make any plans that you can't cancel. Don't make that tour at 8 a.m. coming back 4 p.m. because they might just get up at 3 p.m. So that won't work. Kind of like let them also be let them be involved in the process. Say, hey, you want to go, once you get to that, I'm planning the trip, let them give input. Just because you want to go to that specific attraction that really is something you would love to do doesn't mean that they want to do it either. And kind of like be in a relaxed mode. And something that works for me very well is, hey, I'm going out. I'm going wherever I'm shopping, souvenirs, going to this museum, whatever I'm doing. And whenever you're ready, just give me a call and give me a 30-minute heads up, to get up, to shower, get ready, whatever. And it works great. So there's no pressure, because it'd be an hotel room, like I'm itching to get, I'm the type that wants to get out there and go see what there is to offer out there. I want to see it. And I was on the same page. So that really works very well. But traditionally, plan things for the latter part of the day versus early, unless, like I said, you have that that's like a clock that it's reliable. Now, a very beautiful part of Nefloya Sabira, which we're blessed to have, and the national park system is created, north of over 100 years ago. While people think that you have to get overseas, of course it has that lure, the language, the architecture, the flair. International travel always intrigued me to see how people live and how different people live than the U.S. and walking around, just soaking up the atmosphere, and walking, sometimes getting lost in Venice or getting lost in the streets and just taking it all in. It's tremendous. I always enjoy that. That still never left me. But in the U.S., we're blessed with truly beautiful nature. And literally, you don't have to leave the U.S. to really encompass what the world has to offer, because we have Alaska, which is tremendous beauty. I was there in the summer with a couple of my children. We did a family trip, which was absolutely beautiful. And we got to see wildlife and grizzly bears and moose and elk. We actually had a moose just walk right through our place. And my daughter loves moose, my 8-year-old, and she had moose stuffed animal. And for her to see a moose with a baby calf, we're just sitting watching that 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then I walked through a stream and we were following it. Words can't describe the magnificent beauty. And believe it or not, there was a nonstop flight, and we were able to get tickets for $400, and we were able to go to Anchorage, where Shabbos ends at 2:36 in the morning. So I've been there like 5 times. I didn't want to deal with that Shabbos, when you go to sleep and make a dull in the morning. So we literally got on a nonstop. It was available to take a nonstop flight. It's seasonal, so you can do it in the summer. You leave 2:40 Newark, you land 7:40 Alaska time, which is 4 hours behind. And I left Thursday night. I was back in New York Friday morning, and everyone had the time of their lives. And I try now when I go away, really, some people could only go the weekends, they could, but as a man, so to speak, that wants to be near a shul, and it could get more complicated. It's not, you don't have the same freedom as when you're going away in a weekday if you want to be access to a minyan. So just a tip for the men here, yes, you can find it, but if you could go away during the week and also enough to deal with the Shabbos, we won't get into detail, but it could get more complex. Not deal with it, but it's harder. It's harder. Let's leave it at that, and it's more just easier. And today, there are a lot of times you could take a Sunday, you take a red eye back, and boom, you're back in New York. And if you could do that, again, but a Shabbos experience is also very, very beautiful, like I said, in Chabad houses to see. So it's kind of flip side, but I kind of to the latter, I try to be home for Shabbos. And for the other kids in the family, it's just easier easier if I'm home, and more, they miss more of it when I'm not there. So I try to plan it around that, but it's very, very possible to do that. So again, I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to put up the slides in length, but Anchorage is gateway to Denali National Park. And that's a very, very beautiful, magical place. Now, just bear in mind, you need to plan trips a bit in advance, at least plan them. I didn't say plan on the ground, but at least when you have destinations that 2 months out of the year is their peak season, they're going to book up. The height of COVID, no. But last year, yes, and I was able to get like a cabin. It was very, very beautiful, and it was my favorite spot where my kids they enjoyed it very, very much. But you want to plan in advance. Car rentals were a problem. They sold off 100,000 cars because of COVID. As a corporate company, they're looking at the bottom line now, not what's in the future. Things let up a bit, much, much better, but I actually rented a car from an Israeli guy who used/rental, and we put him on tefillin. It was very beautiful. My son went up to him, and he said, "Hey, you want to put on tefillin?" I said, "Sure." So it was very nice. But do your research. Excuse me. Do your research. I'm just going to jump into, when you rent a car, don't rent cars that say you could save $10, use it or lose it kind of thing. Car rentals are one of the last things that you actually don't have to put the money till you actually rent the car. Well, a ticket you do. You can't say, hold my ticket for 2 months. But car rentals, you could rent in advance. A lot of hotels, you could book and find out, getting ahead of myself, but find out with the hotel what their cancellation policy is. Because many hotels could be 6 p.m. hotel time, but 2 days, some could be 2 weeks before. Things change. But when you book, whatever you book, even an airline, now with COVID, a lot of time easier to switch. Someone's not feeling good, whatever. And most of all, I'll get to it, but buy insurance. There's cheap insurance out there, and I have it on my slide. So this presentation will be available in our Cash and Afshi thing. Okay. Arizona, like I said, is a very, very popular destination. I don't think, I have a brother in Phoenix, but I've been many, many times to Phoenix for various reasons, maybe 5-6 times recently within a year. In the Phoenix area, there's maybe 2 pizza shops, Fleischsticks, and it checks the boxes for even the Chassidish Oilam. I see people eating there, people going to, even a Rebbe's going to Scottsdale now. It became a very, very popular spot, and it has beautiful, everyone knows the Grand Canyon, one of the most visited. I think it's definitely up there for the most visited national parks in the U.S. and it's probably around the world. So it's very beautiful. Not going to get into detail. You could do it in a day. It's a long trip. You could stay overnight near there, but it's truly very magnificent, very beautiful. And Arizona is just very beautiful. As a Phoenix, and the weather almost always is really, really nice. You don't want to go there in the summer when I was there when it was 114, but I'm talking more in the winter months. And again, check the weather. You want to plan a trip. You want to know what the weather's going to be like. You could find an average weather for January, wherever you want to go, and you'll see kind of like a pie chart of where it is. So while you think it might be a great idea to go to Myrtle Beach, it could be 50 degrees. Now 50 degrees, it's not really you're not getting the wow factor, the warmth, what you really want. It's not beach weather, what you call, so to speak, or to enjoy that. So you want to check that in advance too. Colorado is also another very good destination. In Denver, you have a pizza shop, you have a Fleischiger place. I'm not Rava Machsher, but it's an acceptable, place, so to speak, to eat. Everyone has their own standards. There's a lot of beautiful things to do there. Rocky Mountain National Park, that's more in the summer. In Boulder, you have Garden of the Gods, and Denver is a great gateway to there. Now, I'm not a skier, but there's definitely skiing in Vail, Aspen, this Chabad. You could go and sign up for Shabbos meals, and it's just a great destination. To think of it as an all-around year. Now, hey, personally, when I go away in the winter, I want to go away somewhere where I'm going to bake. It's going to be warm. I don't want to go. We have our winters. I'm looking, but people love skiing, snowboarding. The snow machines are just. I've done it a couple times. Everyone knows about jet skis. But there's something very magical about going through forest trails with, state parks with a guided tours with these snow machines. It's undescribable, the beauty of just that. So that's something that Colorado, I classify it, in Arizona as an all-year-round destination. Hey, you don't have to worry where your passports are. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But again, check the regulations, check what's open, check what's closed. Now that things are warm, things are heating up again. Things could change very rapidly. Another very, what I would call a hidden gem is, everyone knows Miami because they might see their mother, the shviger, the brother-in-law, and see half the block maybe during yeshiva week or vacation, which that might not be the best idea for some of us here. And they just want to get away from that. The Heimish crowd, so to speak, is Key West. Key West is about a 3-hour drive from Miami, and it's truly one of the most beautiful sceneries I've seen around the world. You have a 7-mile bridge where you go over it, and you have ocean from both sides as far as the eye could see. And it has that wow factor of the Caribbean waters, of that turquoise colors, and it's a truly beautiful place. Now, you could either go to Miami and drive to Key West, or you could go to Key West and kind of drive the highway the other way, maybe an hour, hour and a half in and turn around. But Key West does have a kosher Israeli-style restaurant. Shkach is given by Chabad. And the shliach there is a personal friend of mine, the couple and my wife. They're very special people, and the Chabad house is very chill. Israeli guys that, so it's somewhere to have in mind. They have a meal there Shabbos, like a community meal, and it's just Haimish in the sense of non-judgmental. And I've guided people to go there, and they had a great time. Hotels could be very expensive. Again, if you have points, we'll get into it in a few minutes. That's always the way to go, try to go. Not to pay, but some of us have to pay, whatever, but you could figure it out. Montana is somewhere I went in the summer, the gateway to Glacier National Park. My daughter says, "Ta, I saw a ticket to Kalispell, Montana. I've always wanted to, I've been there, driven there, and I was a bacher in my heyday, camping out and running around thousands of miles, seeing the beauty with a friend. It was $200 to go nonstop 5 hours with JetBlue, which blew my mind because I don't know how they're making money on the flight. But while people are fixated on tickets, how much they cost and how much they are, hotels could by far, and car rentals outweigh when the supply chain is so hampered. So actually, I never did this before, but I actually did. I did Toro with a car, and it worked out. The guy he put the key by the muffler. He had some sort of a locking mechanism, like in the back of the car with a code. It sounded crazy. I walked from there, small airport, 5 minutes, and I got this big SUV. And Toro, the difference is it's like coming here to the hotel and coming for a Shabbos. No one wants to make their bed and clean up their room. You know, they just want to leave and say, let them so. But with Toro is you have to clean the car. So that wasn't funny. I mean, not fun, but whatever. It is what it is. And they stayed Airbnb, first experience for that, and it worked out very positive. Okay, I got to move faster. Okay, I listed here, again, the slide's going to be available, 5 national parks. Utah is has tremendous beauty, and there's 5 national parks. The more famous ones are Bryce and Zion, truly magnificent. You can fly into Salt Lake, you can fly into Vegas. Kosher, very minimal, but again, anyone that goes or is able to, you can bring your food, you have no issues. So just to make clear, Hawaii, certain places that are like islands, they don't want foreign insects in there, so they're going to be very strict. Some islands extremely strict, but if you're going within the continental US, no one's opening your bag and asking you this meat and that meat and where it's from and what it is. No problem. A very quick, easy, good tip is get a cooler bag, insulated, put it in. I even saw we go on a big trip, 1 milchiks, 1 fleischiks, check it under, and it stays cold. It works well. Okay, Wyoming, Yellowstone National Park, these old trips that I've gone myself. You have Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there's been some very good deals going there, but again, hotels could be challenging or thinking. Outdoor activities, you know, some people love nature. A lot of kids, they love hiking, camping. You could do whitewater rafting, ATVing, rope coursing, mountain sliding, skiing. That's the outdoor activities. Water activities, surfing, water skiing, banana boats. You know, they attach to the back of the boats, rowing. Park City, Utah, just a tip for skiing. There's some people that love that snow, like snowboarding. They like that thrill. They like the skiing parts. They have a kosher restaurant. Hopefully it's open. You have a Chabad house in Vail, walking distance also, and Aspen that way too. I listed here a lot of stuff. Something I never did, which is still on my bucket list, is dog sledding, but it is available in colder climates. It's got to be really cool to go with a bunch of Alaskan Huskies and going through the wilderness in a sled. Again, some people might like it, some people might say, not for me. Man-made attractions, which we all know, just obvious, Disney Park, SeaWorld, Universal Studios. But I just want to say, I used to joke, I need a vacation from my vacation. When you go to these parks, it'll wipe you out. Standing in line in the heat, wherever it is, even if it's not hot, it could get frustrating for people. It's long lines. You're going to have to, unofficial guide to Disney World, there's all the cheshbainis to start from the back to the front, because everyone runs to the first attraction. The guy spends his whole time with a team writing down how quick every ride is. For $20, when you spend $500 or $100 a ticket to get in Disney World, it's a good book to get. And literally you're running around with a map, but like catching your breath and trying to see everything and anything, and it's utterly exhausting. But I guess it's rewarding too. But don't do this like 3 days in a row. So as I said, Tripadvisor is a great place that I use, top attractions, get some ideas. This is complex, I don't have a lot of time, but basically, be careful when you book tickets, know what you're booking. Now, I can't stress this enough. If there's one thing you could come out of here to understand when you book tickets, try to book with the airline directly. Don't book through third party. Use third party as a guidance. If it says United Airlines fare to Miami is $100 round trip, and you go to United.com, even if it's $110, $105, whatever, whatever a little bit. Why? Because so many things could come up. Well, guess what? If something comes up, if someone's not, whatever it is, the third-party website, Expedia, Kayak, whoever they are, they own the ticket. You call the airline, they'll tell you, unless you're at the airport and your flight's delayed or canceled, call Expedia, call Priceline. You could wait on hold. It doesn't always go with the airline. Within seconds, they could help you and change your ticket. So just a tip, always use that as a guidance. Try to go direct. It makes life a lot easier. I can't stress it enough. Same thing with car rentals. Car rentals is a little different, but whatever, if it works. Okay, so just a couple listings here where you could go for car rentals. It's easing up. It's not what it was. But for example, in Hawaii, there was a time that car rentals was $600 a day. People were taking U-Haul trucks, and they were begging people not to do it because people couldn't move. It was complete chaos. Things are getting a little better, but they're still tight out there. If you know you're planning a trip, one of the first things I would say is go look for a cheap car rental without paying, and check it periodically. It could go down, but get that. Don't wait till day before to say, oh, gee whiz, I forgot to book that car. That could be very costly, and there's no real way out of it. So Costco.com, Toro.com is an Airbnb for cars. Some people love it. Some people actually come with a cool car. A kid, he likes a certain car. You want to spend a little more. You want to do the wow factor. You want to get a sports car. They'll meet at some of them, they actually meet at the airport. For the most part, I've heard very positive experiences from it. But again, when insurance purposes, check how that works and all that stuff. You have Priceline, you have Autoslash.com. You fill out a form, totally legit website. Within 15 minutes, they say they're going to send you back a thing. Again, you don't have to. It's not a use it or lose it website. It's something new that I've seen in travel blogs and stuff like that. I've used it. It works. It's an Airbnb for cars. You're going through Toro. They are the company, like Airbnb. Airbnb is taking responsibility for, like, who's the mediator if something goes wrong and the guy says, I have a 3-bedroom apartment, and you get in there and it's a 1-bedroom loch in the wall. Now, where's your, who's fighting for you? So Toro actually, I don't know the whole process, but it's also kind of like a rating system like Uber. The guy doesn't want to get, oh, I had this car and it was filthy as hard. That car was immaculate. Like I said, the only drawback for me is being on a vacation. I don't want to have to worry that he says return in the condition you got it in. So having kids in the car and eating snacks and stuff, that can be a little challenging. But hey, everything worked out fine. And he said, could you give me a good rating? And he's very pleasant. And just with Airbnb also, the owners, they want to please. Their interest is to please, and much more than an Uber driver. It's a lot more at stake for them. And they're flexible, and they'll work with you. And if you have a request, and some of them actually, you need bear spray. Looking at go Montana, we actually saw grizzly bears pretty close. That was just unbelievable experience. But I'm saying they'll sell the add-ons. They try to be helpful, not in a pushy way. But if you need this, you need that. Okay, booking options: Airbnb, Hotel.com, Priceline, Hotwire, Tripadvisor, Trivago.com. Different. Again, if you want to know different places where to book, just say, I do this all the time. Top websites to book travel tickets. Like I said, but get the idea from somewhere else and then go in there. And go with the airline directly. For airlines, to me, that's Terry Sinai. if you could really avoid it. Now, if it's a $500, if it's a huge difference, then obviously not. Sometimes they have the fear that you go online and the fear just jumped and they happen to have it. Don't think twice, just do it if it makes sense. Okay, this could be a Parsha B'fnei Atzmai about credit cards. Disclaimer, I'm going to make this very clear. Do not sign up for credit card bonuses if you plan on carrying a balance. Very bad idea. If you're not going to pay the card in full, these credit cards, what we call affinity credit cards, have a much higher penalty on interest rates than other cards. So don't do this unless, sometimes you have to spend $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. They have all these offers. If you could do it, fine. You have a certain time to do it within. It's a great way. I don't have time to get into it, but it's a great way to, there's certain websites that you could look in. It's a whole malach. I do this all day trying to help people. You have to be on top of the game. One very quick thing I'll mention, which is a real sweet spot, is if you have Chase points and it goes into Hyatt, sign up for Hyatt itself, call them, look online. They have the best point ratio in the industry today. When that hotel, the lady calling from Puerto Rico, was 12,500 points for a hotel that costs $400 a night, $450, which, to give you an idea on the conceptual, a domestic ticket could be starting at 25,000 points. So it's a very good thing to do, and you put it in. So far, that's like, if it was a different Hilton, Marriott, these hotels could be 80,000 points, just to give you an idea of the difference. There is a Hyatt card too. Chase card, the points go instantaneously into Hyatt, instantly. So I'm on the phone and I'm saying, I want to go to Puerto Rico. What hotels? You look, they have a great app. I'm not the best with technology, with the apps. I love their app. You can type in Puerto, then call them up, confirm it. If you have two phones, you could say, hold on a minute. I want to call Chase to transfer the points. As you're speaking, the woman on the line or the guy on the line looks, and boom, I need 12, let's say it's 1,000 increments. I need 20,000 points. It pops right in there, and you could save a tremendous amount of money. And gorgeous hotels. The most they have is 40,000. We have hotels there for 30,000 points. I've seen hotels that go for $3,000 a night. They have a hotel in Big Sur, California, that's like $3,000 a night, and it's like 25,000 points. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. It's Highway 1 in California, hugs the ocean. It's like an hour before San Francisco, like south. It's really, really pretty. So look, you could play around with the app. I tell people go the Hyatt. To me is Hyatt's worldwide. We had a conference and we had a Keshanafshi Mezbush. I came a day early. I wanted to go to Balatanya's cave or whatever. Long story short, I stayed in the Key of Hyatt that cost €300 a night. With taxes, $400. It was 15,000 points. Gorgeous hotel, absolutely magnificent. So yes, they're worldwide.
Do they have any blackout days? Because like
No.
Hilton, you can't use your free
No,
tickets.
it's available, not available. I didn't see no blackout dates, no.
Hilton is,
I know Hilton, I went away from Hilton a long time. The ratio from Hilton to Hyatt is like night and day. It's like 20% of what you're going to have with Hyatt. They were going to change it. They didn't change it. This to me is the only golden egg, like the only stuff left, because I think Marriott devalued the point system 3 times. I only have it because I got a free night with Amex. I don't even use Amex anymore. To me, the right Chase points, to me, are great. They have United, they have JetBlue, they transfer right away. They have this Hyatt thing. Like I said, everyone's fixated on getting free tickets. Remember, hotels can get very, very, very expensive, and you could stay in a hotel and your kid feels like $1 million because it's a top-rate hotel. For like walking out the door, and Hyatt doesn't charge resort fees. Some hotels could be $80 resort fee. You get a Hilton, they're going to nail you with a resort fee. Hyatt has in their rules, they don't charge resort fee. How does it feel to walk out? What's my balance? 0.
and which credit card? Chase Alpha?
Yeah, transfers. Yeah. There's a lot of preferred. There's many different Chases, like 60 credit cards, but right. And another thing that also Chase Sapphire is 1.5. Chase Preferred is 1.25, and you could go online and book it. But if you would take that hotel with Chase direct, you would pay much more points. You want to sign up a Hyatt account and then throw the miles into Hyatt, and you could do it as you go. You don't have to load up and wait. I'm just sharing this. I had 19 stays with the Hyatt this year. You call Chase, and you give them the Hyatt number, and they transfer it instantaneously. Bam. Done. Okay, I went through the soft-sided cooler with all that. Walmart, you don't want to schlep. You're in Arizona. You need a plug-in pot. You can walk into any Walmart. You can buy the hot plate, the Skittle, whatever you call them. You can buy 2 of them Milchiks, Fleischiks, $20-25. You don't need to schlep it home. You could throw it in the garbage. You still, by the time you go out to eat and spend all that money, and you have it depends how many people you are, you could bring it back. A great thing that we always do. Another very quick thing, local attractions. You're out, there's a great place my son likes to go outside of Phoenix to have a beautiful animals, and it's a very pretty, they have like African animal from Africa and all different kinds of animals. Groupon could save you sometimes $40-50 a ticket to have deals. So Living Social, just look online and see what's out there. GoDaven.com is a great website to see where local minyan is for those that need it. A great travel to get tips, well, Million Mile Secrets is done with, but Dan's Deals, which we all know about, he only does Telegram, but if you sign up, and the Points Guy, there's a website called the Points Guy. You just play around, we'll look at it. He has different things, credit cards, and then you want to start learning about it. That's a good resource. Okay, any quick questions? So I asked my wife to add this, so if you guys have a pen, I'll give you my cell number. Again, I do this for chesed. Bear in mind, I do work as a full-time job. But if it's for traveling with your children that need that fun, need some simchas hachaim.
I didn't get them.
Well, one sec. I'm giving you my phone number. Text or WhatsApp is the best. I'll just say who you are, what it's about. I was at the Kesher Nafshi. And it's 646-641-6004. I'll try to get back to you, try to give you some ideas, try to help you out. 646-641-6004. My name is Shlomi Litzman. Right. And just say, my name is such and such, and I'd like to plan a trip with my son, my daughter, whatever. And then we'll get into it, what they like, how old they are, and what you think that might work.